Yo, what the fuck is up, gamers? Right now, June 24th is my birthday. Hell yeah, bro. So to celebrate, I'm gonna recreate a video that I made last year on my birthday.
It's a reinterpretation.
Which is basically an FAQ about me. Normally I would just let that one speak for myself, but I also made that during a time when I had very little freedom to do any editing, and as such I'm not very proud of how it came out. I wish I did a little bit more editing before I was a little bit restricted. And also some details have been changed. So yeah, let's get into it. First things first, you might have noticed, if you are an avid viewer, probably not, that I used to go by Rising Superstar and now I go by Golden Cheez. Why is that? You're probably not asking. Well, let me answer. Rising Superstar was originally the moniker used by Liam of the Super Best Friends play. It's not really a moniker, more of a nickname that kind of just stuck with him, and I thought, maybe I could use it because, he has so many other nicknames, but he ended up not using any of them, whatever. And I thought, since I'm making a Patreon and I can't really use Lapras anymore to make money because she's a copyrighted character, I gotta come up with a new identity online, a new handle, a new avatar. So Golden Cheez was born. I workshopped a whole bunch of names. Golden Cheez was the one that kind of just stuck with me the most. Other ones included Big Beef and Cheese and just Cheese. Big Beef and Cheese came from me, where I originally joined a friend's Discord server. You can hear that friend in many videos. And one of my original nicknames was just like Big Beef and Cheeseburger, which I abbreviated to just Big Beef and Cheese. My friends just kept continuously calling me Cheese because it was just the one part of it that they can just, easily say. It's like, oh, it's Cheese. Hey, Cheese, how's it going, bro? And you know what? I'm actually okay with that. Speaking of my name, you may have seen the other video and thought, oh, your name is this. No, it's not. Not anymore. Now, if you need a normal proper name to call me by, that's not Cheez, call me Zeke. Zeke is a name I wholeheartedly accept you calling me. Everything after this point is from that last video, but zhuzhed up. If you notice anything different, then it's because I went and re-edited some things. Like, things may look different. The only thing that's really going to be wholly entirely different is the ending, and you'll see why.
I was born June 24th, 1994 in San Mateo, California. Literally born and raised a California kid. I am 25 years old, non-binary, going by they them pronouns, but you're free to use he him since I present myself in a masculine way, kinda. Pansexual and polyamorous. Don't know what that is? Go to Google. Here is my face in the nicest recent picture of myself I've taken. Don't worry, there might be more later on. Probably. I am Hispanic, as my family has roots in Nicaragua, Puerto Rico, and Guatemala. While I'm not professionally diagnosed, I have exhibited signs of being on the autism spectrum, as well as having ADHD. I can't really say whether or not I actually have those things, because I do not have any way of going to see a professional about it, but still. Alright, enough about me personally, let's get into my favorites, starting with Scott Pilgrim vs. the World is my favorite movie. I'm going to keep this brief because 2/3 of why it's my favorite is very well explained by both Cinema Wins and Movies with Mikey by Filmjoy. Links in the description. To get a little more personal, I saw this movie at the midnight premiere of when it originally released. It was my first ever midnight showing, and I was in a really, really bad place emotionally. I had been dumped by my girlfriend at the time, and like any other moody 15-year-old, I just wanted to look at funny video game things to get my mind off of the heartbreak. But what I didn't expect was that under all the video game references and really good 90s music was a hidden story about how you can't really give yourself to anyone 100% romantically until you make peace with who you are inside and begin the path to either self-acceptance or self-realization. I know it's not a perfect story and nowhere near a perfect adaptation of the visual novel, and also a tad bit problematic in places. But he picked me up by the collar, dusted me off, and told me to go face the world the only way I know how, by being myself and no one else. Just as formative as my favorite movie, my favorite band/musical artist is Linkin Park. Yeah, I know the joke about, wow, in the end, it's such a funny meme, or, oh, crawling in my skin is real cringy. But hear me out. I've been known to like edgy things. I still do like edgy things that push the boundary of what's acceptable, unironically. But Linkin Park was never like most other nu metal bands that had a sound and message that wanted to appeal to middle schoolers. Their sound, their music, their lyrics, their everything was about them first. Linkin Park was a band that dealt with a lot of different things. Drug addiction, alcoholism, abuse by those closest to them, mental illness making them paranoid, and so much more. Admittedly, most of this was felt and experienced by lead singer Chester Bennington, but you can hear his anguish, his pain, his actual cries for help in their music. Unfortunately, help didn't come, as he took his own life July 20th, 2017. He was doing well for himself for a while, but the straw that broke the camel's back, many theorize, is the suicide of a close friend and lead singer for Soundgarden, Chris Cornell. I remember my first and only time seeing Linkin Park live was at a music festival here in the Bay Area called BFD. The headliner of this big event that had this little stadium was Linkin Park, but opening for them was Chris Cornell with his band. Then, in the middle of a song, Chester came out and sang with him, and I swear it was a magical time in my 12-year-old little life. Then Linkin Park played themselves, and it felt like I ascended, listening to my favorite band playing live. God rest your soul, Chester. You gave the world something special, and it's a less wonderful place without you. Have you ever seen an anime that you watch before you've really emotionally matured and you think, wow, this is really cool, I like this anime. And then you revisit it as a teenager or young adult and you realize, holy moly, this is so much more messed up and darker than I thought. Well, that's what happened with me and my favorite anime of all time, Hellgirl. The episodic story of random Japanese people who are so fed up with the evils caused by specific people in their lives, they take their revenge by going to the Hell Correspondent, a website that vows that the victim will be brought straight to hell for their crimes at the price that the person contacting them will also go to hell when they eventually die, never knowing the true joys of heaven. Originally, what caught my attention was the emphasis of hell in the plot. I was raised in a Christian household. If you want to get specific, we were Baptists, and I was, and still am, too much of a nice kid to really rebel. So the way I do it is showing very strong interest in very edgy things. I was way deep into horror movies. I had passing interest in things like Elfen Lied and Higurashi, things like that. What made my case unique was that the edgy things I gravitated towards the most and stuck with had an emphasis on religion, or rather, a perversion of religious concepts. Hellgirl is very much in that camp, but it had only grown to be even better in my eyes the older I got. Revisiting the first season for this video made me realize just how dark this show could get. People are driven to suicide by their tormentors. A teenage boy gets beat up with a baseball bat and dies of internal trauma, suffering and writhing in pain for days. Puppies are malpracticed to death. Things get really bleak. It really showed off just how despicable these people were, how black their souls were, and how they really, truly deserve to die and go to hell for the pain they caused. This anime tests your sympathy well, and mine really, truly has no bottom. If you're into spooky stuff, people going to hell for crimes against humanity on a more social scale, and really, really good music, which you've been hearing in this section, give it a look. Unfortunately, it's not on any legal streaming service to my knowledge, and the DVD is out of print, so you'll have to find other ways of watching it. I fully recommend supporting the official release when you can, but sometimes it's hard. I won't judge you if you can't do it legally. Well, Judge out loud. Rapid fire favorites before we get to the last section. Favorites that are very easily explained.
Ready, set, go!
Favorite Pokemon? Beware, because he's a big bear, he's a legitimately good pick for competitive battling, he's got a great shiny that influenced my love with the color yellow, and he's also the luckiest Pokemon I've ever had, being the first Masada method egg hatched which gave me a shiny while also being the second egg in that batch. Favorite fighting game? Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I'm already an easy A for both Marvel and Capcom, putting them together makes something almost perfect. I've been a fan since X-Men vs. Street Fighter, and UMVC 3 is the very first game in the Versus series I was ever actually good at and could prove to people how good I was. Favorite TV show? Steven Universe. If you can get past the fandom and the haters, you'll find out quickly why I actually like the show. Favorite web show? Ruby. Yeah, I know it's a meme to hate on it and enjoy all of Rooster Teeth's other shows better, but I still love it. I even made a video about why I love it, which is aged terribly. It's on worse hardware and I should remake it when I get around to finishing the other seasons that are out. Favorite anime movie? Mirai. I already talked about it before and I really should make a more long form video about it if it doesn't get blocked due to copyright. Favorite shonen anime / manga series? Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, 90s kid, whatever. It's something that I've always been able to enjoy in most every form I've ever seen it in. Alright, that's everything. Time for the final section.
So originally, this part was going to be me talking about my favorite game ever, and it was Undertale. It still is, but I think because everyone said everything about Undertale, I think it's time to not necessarily shine a spotlight on Undertale, but maybe shine a spotlight on the other games that are meaningful to me, because if you ask anyone why Undertale's their favorite game, you'll probably get very similar answers, but for other games, you'll probably get different answers. So in no particular order, let's get to it. Shin Megami Tensei Persona 4 is the very first Persona game I've ever played and beaten, and technically speaking, the only game I've played and beaten. It deals with facing yourself, facing the parts of you that you would rather not, you would rather just keep buried deep inside of you, and that really hit home for me as a 17, 18-year-old, because that's around the time that I played it for the first time. Mind you, I'm 26 right now. I got into the Kingdom Hearts series in a very weird way. I remember seeing commercials, not for Kingdom Hearts 1, but Kingdom Hearts 2, and I was like, I want to play that game. That song, the Sanctuary, it's really cool. I need to play it now. So I got the game. I didn't know nothing about the story, but I enjoyed the gameplay so much that I just played it regardless, and I didn't even mind that I knew nothing about what was going on. Fast forward to now, and Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix is not only the definitive version of the game, it's the game that I can very easily see myself going back to whenever I need a really good action RPG, a really good, like, hack and slash with RPG elements. Lisa, the Painful RPG. I need to find a way to talk about this game at some point, but to not give everything about it away, Lisa, the Painful RPG is my go-to game whenever someone needs to talk about games that just make you feel bad, games that make you feel sad. You know what, fuck it, I'll say it. It's a lot stronger emotionally than The Last of Us, and maybe even The Last of Us 2. Things that happen in that game make you hurt. They make you hurt so much, and there's very little you can do about it. You just gotta sit there and take it. Thankfully, Lisa the Painful RPG features very little, if any, of the bury your gay trope, so that's cool. You know what? I'm gonna be very serious right now. Part of me doesn't really want to continue doing this, continue making videos and entertaining the people that, that actually do watch my things, my videos. Part of me really doesn't want to keep doing this, just making videos for like 3 people. Some people watch my stuff, and I'm very happy to hear about that, but it's only like a few people, and part of me just wants to know that like the things I'm doing are reaching out to more people than just the people who say that they're supporting me. I believe them, but still. However, I am going to continue because now I've changed the mission statement of my channel. It used to be wanting to put out positive content onto YouTube. It still technically is, but now it's also wanting to make LGBT gamer content, gamer with a hard Y, if you will, and that kind of thing just speaks to me more. Like, sure, I can be positive, but it's, you know, this kind of time that we're living in right now, it's hard to stay positive. Sometimes you need to be angry, sometimes you need to be sad, sometimes you need to feel nothing, at least for a little bit. However, I am dedicating this channel to everyone who has ever struggled with their identity, whether it be their sexual identity, their gender identity, what have you. If you have ever felt unsure of who you are, this is for you. And I hope that you live a happier life and that you can be the person that you want to be and that you can live the life you want to live. Thank you for watching. If you want to hit the subscribe button, you really don't have to, but it really tells me that people are actually watching my things and want me to continue doing what I do. I hope that every single LGBTQ plus person that's going through this rough Pride Month is happy and safe. And to those that aren't, I hope your situation changes up. And to those that have unfortunately left us due to different circumstances, we'll always remember you. And don't forget, Black Lives Matter, 1312 ACAB. I love you.